Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Davi-Gaye Julal-Henry here, quality and food safety consultant here in Jamaica. Very quick video. So I am actually on site of a client now where I am going to be doing a witness audit. So we did 2 days of training to do ISO 9001 auditing, and today they're going to actually get the opportunity to audit. So just sharing some quick tips to those persons that are auditing for the first time, especially after you've just been trained. So one, typically you get the training, you have no clue what to do, and you would have gotten some tips in the audit, but is it really applicable when you go in there? So you're going to be nervous, and the auditee is going to be nervous, everybody in the room nervous, but you have to calm your nerves. So preparation is the best thing. I like to teach my trainees when they're auditing to use the various auditing techniques and to plan how they're going to approach it for each process they're going to audit. So I use the test plan method. For those that who have done the PECB lead auditor course, well, if you're a new trainee, you wouldn't have done that course, but it is something taught in the PECB lead auditor course, where for each technique, so let us say observation, and you're going to audit a process. What are you going to observe? So think about the objective of the audit. What do you want to observe? What can observation tell you from this process? So let us say you're going to do maintenance, preventive maintenance. If they're doing maintenance activities, you can go and observe how they're executing the activities. Are they using the safety protocols as outlined in their procedures? Are they wearing the PPEs? Was there communication with production, for example, that maintenance activity was being done? Did they cordon off the area to protect the rest of operation? Is operation ongoing? All of those things you're observing. Then review of documented information. Remember, there are 2 types of documented information: the guidance part as well as the evidence part. So regarding guidance, is there any SOP, any manual that guides how the activity is done? Now for maintenance, for example, you want to see some work instructions because you have to pull down equipment, so they tell you how to pull down equipment. Or if they don't have their own work instruction, they may have manufacturers manuals that would guide them on how to do it. So you want to look if there are things like that. Now I'm not saying if they don't have it, something is wrong. You have to see how it's communicated, but you're looking for that level of documented information. And then on the flip side, for records, do they have a work order to say that they were going to do the activity? Is there a maintenance schedule that would have told them what to do? How do they assign the staff members? Is that documented? How do they sign out for the tools? Lockout, tag out, is that being done? So those are some things that you're looking for when it comes to documented information. And is there evidence that these things are being done? Who signs off on these things? Then so interview. Who are we going to interview for this process? So you have different levels of interview. You have detailed interview and you have general interview. If you want to do a general interview, you may talk to the maintenance manager. How do you determine how do you establish the maintenance schedule? How do you determine what needs to be done per equipment or per facility? How do you establish a frequency for doing that? How do you communicate to staff what their responsibilities are? How do you communicate the safety requirement? How do you communicate to other teams that are impacted by maintenance activities or need to be involved in the maintenance activities? Some of the questions that you would ask. So when you're planning for your audit, I prefer not to write questions, because question can sometimes throw you off and lock you in a box, and if the auditee answer the questions that you have, then you're lost, you don't know what to ask. So I like to tell my trainees to have objectives. What do you want to achieve from this interview? What are some things you want to find out about? When I start an interview, I typically say, tell me about your process. So give them the opportunity to tell you everything that they do based on their general knowledge, and then you start asking questions from what they would have said. Then detailed interview, speak to one of the maintenance technicians. So when you go into maintain equipment, how are you informed? How you know that you're supposed to do it? How do you get the tools? Who do you request it from? Who gives you authorization to turn off this equipment? If there's a challenge, how do you deal with that? Those are some of the things that I would ask a maintenance person. But as you are planning for your audit, you have to sit down and consider all of these things. How do you intend to achieve your audit objective, and use the various techniques? Now, use those three, but remember you have others such as analysis. You have to now compare the data and corroborate information to determine if what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what you have read, if it's actually conforming to the requirement. So what did the procedure say they're supposed to do? What does the ISO 9001 standard or whatever standard they're working against, what does it say should be done? And you verify against each other, compare, contrast to see if the process is working effectively. So that's my little tip for today. Very quick video, as I said. All the best. If you need training services, auditing services, consulting services, or you just want some guidance, you can reach out to me and I will assist as best as possible. All right, take care everyone. Have a wonderful rest of your day.